Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Uncharted 4 Crushing Difficulty walkthrough, and this is chapter 15, also known as the Thieves of Libertalia. And Libertalia, as we all know, was formed to be a utopia for all the pirates. The most successful pirates were invited here by Henry Avery to share with him this place and live in this great paradise, far away from the long arm of the law. But as we can all see, something went terribly wrong. I don't know if there's any truth in the old saying that there's no honor among thieves, or if Henry Avery was just extremely paranoid, because we can see all these paintings have been smeared with the word thief, implying that they started stealing from Henry and things fell apart quickly. And it kind of makes sense, probably, because I've been spending the last few weeks rewatching the old TV series called Oz on HBO. Great show, takes place in a prison, and that is also a place where it is really apparent that you're never safe and no one is loyal to anyone. Money rules the world, and people will stab you in the back at the slightest chance they get. But this big room that we are in right now, this is, as far as I know, a timed sequence. Because I'm running around. I think you need to pick up that note that I just did. And I'm running around, I'm trying to bypass the game just to speed things along. I was actually thinking about skipping a bit of this. Because what I'm waiting for is for Sam to get his butt out of the sling and go over and examine that painting. And it takes, I think it's around 3 minutes before he decides to head over there. His entire attention is turned towards the paintings on the wall. But this is also one of those, the first part of this chapter is quite slow. We're going to do some platforming. We're back in exposition country. So it gives me time to talk about a few other things. Let's talk a little bit about game releases, because we all know, I have mentioned it several times before, that God of War, the new God of War is coming out soon, and I'm very hyped about it. I'm really looking forward to it, and then we will see the release of Dark Souls Remastered. There you have, by the way, the trigger that Sam has found the painting and wants to examine it. It's not even the painting. It's this bookshelf. Whatever it is. But you go into a little cutscene. And actually, the other day, I went against my principles. Because we all know I've talked to great extent about how I feel about Ubisoft and the Far Cry series and Assassin's Creed series. But I actually fell for the hype, and I picked up Far Cry 5 the other day. Or actually, I didn't buy it myself. I got it from my girlfriend, because we celebrated 9 years as engaged last week, and I got it as a present from her. And I must say, I've started playing it. I haven't had that much time to put into it yet. I have just played it for like 5 or 6 hours. Gotten past the tutorial part and started exploring the world a little bit. And I must say, it may be the fact that I've been away from open world games for a very long time. I haven't played any open world games in months. That is also something I've talked about, that I just got fed up with it. I started more and more enjoying these linear adventures. But anyway, I've headed back into open world country. And I must say, even though as in this early stage of the game I can't get too much into it because I haven't gotten that far into it. But even though some things are very similar to the old games, especially One thing I really notice is the car driving. All the cars feel like little toys in this, at this point at least. But it's really fun to fly helicopters, and I'm looking forward to. I think you can fly airplanes in that game as well, and that is also something I'm really looking forward to. But that was not what I was gonna discuss. But because I think there is a certain kind of self-awareness in this game. Because during the tutorial area, you get to a point where you need to climb a radio tower. And anyone who has played Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 4 starts sighing, probably. I know I did when I got to that mission, because I was like, oh shit, here we go again. Once again with the radio towers. Haven't we been through this already? But that's where the self-awareness comes in. Because the person that sends you up this radio tower, he's talking to you over a walkie-talkie. He actually says to you that, I know what you're thinking, but don't worry, I'm not gonna send you up radio towers all over this entire area. And that actually got me to start laughing. Because it shows that they have learned something. Hopefully they have moved on. I read a few reviews about the game, and apparently there are some similarities, as there always are. But hopefully it will be inventive enough, or innovative enough, for me to really enjoy it. I have enjoyed it very much so far, and I hope that the game will continue in that same way. But now I'm gonna leave Far Cry 5 and focus on this game a little bit, because this is where things start getting hectic. And this is also the chapter I told you about in one of my previous videos, that I get killed in a scripted sequence. And that is actually in this chapter. I'm gonna show you the area. There will be a little transition further on in this sequence coming up, and that is due to that cheap death during that scripted sequence. But as you can see, they are completely bombarding us. They are not pleased at all that we are up here, and here is a little transition. You have a few options what you want to do here. You can either start shooting at these guys, try to thin the herd a little bit. I see no point in it. Instead, save your bullets, just start climbing up the rope immediately and head for the exit. Because you're gonna need your bullets further on, not in this chapter, but in chapters coming up. But we run through this corridor. Everything here is very intense. Everything is going really fast, and I love it. This is action at its best. Be very careful when you're running here. You can get killed. I like to stay behind this pillar a little bit, wait for my health to regain a little bit, so I don't die during this animation. Because you can see, I got really close to death going up to that door. And here is the place I was talking about. You saw that grenade flying out. Totally scripted. You go straight into a cutscene, more or less. And there's nothing one you can do about it. But I have somewhere a video segment of me dying there. And I'm quite sure that I still have it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I should do. Because I have learned the hard way. I've talked about sometimes that my computer has, for some reason, deleted video footage. I have no idea why it has happened. But I've learned by that, or through that, to never delete my raw video until the entire walkthrough is up. And now we've gotten to the last part of this chapter. We are once again in combat with Nadine. And Nadine is pissed. Sam and Nate are completely chanceless against her because both these guys, they have learned fighting on the streets. They are sluggers, more or less, street brawlers. Nadine probably learned her fighting skills from some kind of kung fu master living on a hill under a waterfall, only eating dry rice once every 10 years. You know, Kill Bill style. Can't remember what the master they train with is called in those movies, but probably something like that. So these guys don't stand a chance against her. Which is really cool because she's part of the Lost Legacy, but she seems a bit nerfed in that game. But Nate jumps in and manages to get them all to fall through the floor straight out to the Wolfman Gaming title screen. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.